psychology, and sociology. Jerica is excited to be the student speaker for this year's Take Back the Night event because it is an opportunity to share what she has experienced and learned to help others. Whether it is creating awareness, educating, or showing victims they are not the only ones. Please help me in welcoming Jerica.
Good evening, and welcome to this year's annual Take Back the Night event here at the University of Nebraska at Omaha. My name is Jerica Mohlman, she, her, a student here at UNO, and it is an honor and a privilege to be speaking in front of you all here tonight. The Weber Dictionary definition of sexual assault is illegal sexual contact that usually involves force upon a person without consent or is inflicted upon a person who is incapable of giving consent. Sexual contact meaning unwanted touch or feeling. This definition can be skewed. The way in which people skew this definition cultivates the line between the truth and a lie. It is true that some people do lie of being victims of sexual assault. This can create a false reputation on people who did not commit sexual assault, which can ruin their reputation. But it does not discredit those who are victims of sexual assault. There are false notions about sexual assault that leads to hardships. Hardships that involve people not believing you. People saying, oh, it isn't that bad. People degrading the subject. People victim blaming, or people simply not knowing what to do or to say. This leads to those who have experienced sexual assault believe for themselves that it wasn't sexual assault, or it really wasn't that bad. This is from lack of education and awareness. It is nobody's fault if they react in these ways, if they do have an idea or don't have an idea, because they simply do not know what the situation is like. Sexual assault is real and happens to more people that you know than you think it does. Talking about these events can be hard, but it is real and needs to be talked about. And that is what I'm going to do here tonight, to talk about the hard events that can happen from sexual assault to gain awareness. 6 years ago, at age 14, I was sexually assaulted for the first time. I was in the darkness for 3 years until I had the confidence and the motivation to speak up for what I had experienced. The 3 years I experienced were dark and lonely. It was filled with blame, disappointment, and shame for myself, and I thought I could have done something different. In those 3 years, I spent time alone in the dark and had the trauma build up inside me. I felt that I couldn't tell anybody because I thought to myself, it wasn't that bad. It wasn't that big of a deal. I am just overreacting. This couldn't happen to me. I couldn't tell my parents because I thought I would get in trouble for engaging in sexual activities. I couldn't tell my friends because they wouldn't know what to do or believe what I was saying just because we were so young and had no knowledge on sexual assault, which is nobody's fault. It all felt like too much to put on somebody, even though I didn't have clarity of what it was that happened. I didn't say anything for these reasons. It would have created more problems, which led me into the darkness more and made me feel more alone. I simply didn't know what it was that happened. How could I tell somebody what happened when I didn't know what it was or hadn't processed it yet? All I knew is that I felt invaded and uncomfortable, but I just couldn't put a name to it. It took me time to really accept that I had been sexually assaulted because I told myself that it couldn't happen to me. I went on for the next 3 years being acquaintances with my perpetrator because it was nothing on my mind, but it was something. My life was affected in so many different ways. My outgoing, social butterfly, bubbly personality was faded. My innocence was gone. I was rude and not caring towards my parents' guidance since they didn't know what it was that happened. I didn't eat, didn't want to go out of my room, didn't want to talk to my family and friends to add to how I was acting. This also led me to getting into dating relationships that were toxic and came with physical, mental, and emotional abuse. Dating and relationships become a challenge after being a victim of sexual assault. From my experiences, you think and feel to yourself that you don't deserve anything better. All you have been shown is hurt and forced love. So that is what you date, which causes more problems. You don't trust, you have triggers, any pain that is inflicted upon you, you think you deserve. And the worst thing is that you are used to the pain. You are used to feeling numb because you are used to feeling pain because you are so numb to it. It seems like nothing. And you continue in this because the pain doesn't affect you. In my junior year of high school, right after I turned 17 years old, my eyes were open when one of my old close friends was sexually assaulted by the same perpetrator. This fueled me to stand up. My mom didn't want me to speak up because she wanted to protect me. She didn't want me to relive what had happened, but little did she know, it was already getting relived in my mind. I wanted to change and rewrite what happened, and in my mind, this was my chance. In a sense, I wanted to make up for what I didn't do, because I finally knew what it was. I was driven to speak up and shut this down. I wanted to say to his face what he did to me and what it was he did, so he could stop thinking these actions were okay for him to do to other girls, especially girls I knew. My friend and I reported our cases, and after 9 months of it being delayed from COVID, we got our justice in court, and he was charged when we were 17 and about to start our senior year of high school. Since there was a 3-year time in between when I was sexually assaulted and reported the case, teenagers from other schools said I made it all up, that I just wanted attention. For some reason, unknown to me, these comments did not faze me. I knew what happened. I was there when it happened. I believed my friend when she told me what he did to her because it was the same style he used on me. These people who said these things were young and naive and could have been ignorant of how serious this topic is and how often it occurs. This is why education and awareness is so vital with sexual assault and domestic violence. People don't know until they do know. And by then, it could be too late. But it is never too late for speaking up. Advocating and showing awareness to the truth of sexual assault and victims can change a victim's outlook and can give them the confidence to share their experiences. Because people don't tell you what comes with an experience like this. It is more than the event that occurs. These effects are long-lasting. It comes with unexpected mental hardships, like depression, anxiety, PTSD, eating disorders, to just name a few. A person is changed by an event like this. At first, it looks like negative change. But looking back on the growth and strength I have made in the past 3 years, especially within this past year, can bring tears to my eyes. I am still feeling and going through the hardships, but it has been a lot easier now that I know what it is that had happened and have community. I have realized more and more that more people are involved and affected by a victim who was or is sexually assaulted. Family, friends, partners, and more. These people who love and care about the victim hear horrifying stories of what happened to their loved one. It really hit me when I was comforting my mom, crying, trying to blame herself for not protecting me. It really hit me when one of my friends apologized over and over and over because she didn't believe me when it happened. These people need support too, because they are dealing with their own guilt even though it is not their fault. We never know what side or what people are going through, which is why it is so important to be kind and gracious. There are so many life-changing effects that happen from sexual assault and domestic violence situations that we need to give a loving and gracious heart for those who are battling these battles. And not just these battles though, but any battle and hardships that a person faces. We, as humans, are not supposed to walk through this world alone in the darkness. We are meant to have community with one another and support each other. I did survive, but I am still surviving, and it is the same for every victim. It is an everyday battle that you get to say yes or no to every day. There are going to be bad days. We are not given every day to be perfect. If every day was perfect, we would have no reason to gain strength. We would have no reason to fight. This has taken me some time to accept, but I am here to reassure you that whatever hard times you may be going through, it is okay to have bad days. Bad days are what makes us stronger, even though it is hard to see in the moment. Every victim's story is different, and every human's story is different. I believe that everything happens for a reason, and every human has a reason. This is part of my story, with what I have experienced, with the greatest lessons and realizations I have had. I thank God for being my motivation through this journey. Today, I thank my parents, my friends, and my boyfriend for giving me the grace and the tenderness when I am struggling from these hardships to this day. Their support, encouragement, and happiness they give drives me to be the person I am today and give me the reasons to fight these battles, which is why community is so important. My greatest drive is that if by sharing my story and experiences helps just one person, then I have done my purpose. Again, it is an absolute honor and a privilege to share my story and experiences with you all tonight. Let's put an end to the false notions about sexual assault, help others get out of the dark, and take back the night. Thank you, and have a great rest of your night.